you won, I think, CrossFit in India twice in a row.
Yes.
How did you and I mean, I have done CrossFit a couple of years. It's hardcore, it's very tough. How did you get into CrossFit, and what was the journey like, from getting into CrossFit to become basically, I think if you win CrossFit in India, you can be called the fittest woman in India. I think that's very apt label. So yeah, just talk to me about that journey.
Yeah, that's also like Zumba and everything else, a very happy accident, or surprisingly I discovered it thanks to my ex-business partner. But we had it at Tribe, Mukesh. Of course, we changed it later on. We started CrossFit at Tribe, and I remember when we started Tribe, that place was one of the few boxes in India. They call it box, right, instead of gym. So I think we were the second and the third CrossFit box, and second in Bangalore, I'm guessing, because there was one more in 12 Lane at that point. My strength journey started with CrossFit. Like, I didn't do a lot of strength training. I did a lot of dancing and Zumba, and I did yoga. But my strength training started with CrossFit, and thanks to the really good coaches that I got to meet at Tribe, I absolutely loved the explosiveness that it brings. While you're doing a lot of the basic things, you're also doing a lot of movements which are slightly more niche and unique, and you need a lot of mobility for it. And I think at that point I was blessed with great mobility, so I ended up performing well. And I did the classes as a part of my strength. And then the Open happens once a year, the CrossFit Open competition. The coach said, you should just give it a shot. I said, okay, I mean, I'll do what I normally do in class, and I'll just put in my all. And it's over 5 weeks. So each week there's one workout, and you get 3 opportunities to do it. Like, so if you feel like you can do it better, you can basically give a second attempt. And I did it the first year, and somehow it worked in my favor. And, I think competition is something that I enjoyed.
Where were you placed in first year?
5th. I was 5th.
Very first time you were among top 5 already.
Yeah. And I felt fantastic to be in that space, because that was something new I discovered about myself. I'm like, okay, there is dance, and then there's career in dance, then there was Tribe, and all of this happened, which are all very, very new. And I kept discovering this about myself, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do this too, and it made me feel great. And I must add this here, and it's something that, a lot of women, I don't know, maybe even men will relate. Fitness, incorporating fitness, and particularly so strength training, has just made me a lot more confident in life.
Right.
The person that I used to be was more, a little afraid, maybe even afraid of speaking in public or talking to like a big group of people. At HSBC, it was different. It was your team.
Right.
Your team becomes like your family over the years, so you're comfortable. But generally, I was not someone who was capable of being extremely social. I was afraid. I'd love it. I'd love to do it. And I think fitness has changed that for me. Doing Zumba and then, excelling in CrossFit and picking up a lot of weights. For a woman, I feel like it just suddenly makes you feel like, stronger.
Right.
Mentally. Physically, of course, you will get stronger. So I remember like a big shift in my head that happened after winning that first CrossFit Open. I'm like, I'm so much more than I think I am.
Right.
We all feel like there's certain things that we're good at, certain things we'll be average or not good at. But until you try, you really don't know what are your different potential and capabilities. So then I did that, and then next year again I competed, and then I became the 3rd fittest. So I came up.
So 5th to 3rd?
3rd.
To probably winning next year.
Next year I didn't do it because then, we got really busy. So 3rd is where I stopped. But that's the year that you gave me a little gift for winning. You gave me a Spider-Man.
Right.
And I still have it.
Excellent.
And, I look at it and obviously there's lots of memories. But I still do CrossFit in my own capacity, in a sense, not, the certain aspects of it I still keep. It's not like I only train CrossFit, but certain aspects I don't, which are not really needed for your general fitness and longevity and everything. But it really changed my perspective. So today I just promote the fact that everybody should lift weights. Everybody should exercise to begin with. But looking at my mom, what she's going through, despite being very active, today she's dealing with Parkinson's. Looking at my father, despite being so active, He is going through, he has heart disease, his diabetes, recently gone through cancer. When I look at all of this, I'm like, you know what? The more you strengthen yourself mentally, emotionally, physically for old age,
right,
the better you will.
Now, you're talking about some of my favorite topics, about fitness. I think the relationship between physical fitness and mental, fitness is, mental wellness is not talked about that much. But every form of workout, makes you feel so much better about yourself. And it's a great stress buster. It gives you ability to focus and just deal with, all the things, all the stressors that we deal with, and can even, play a huge role in our emotional well-being. So that's one part. Second, the boost in confidence, that once you go and slay that workout and do really well, even if, something today you feel you can't do, and then tomorrow you are able to do that, that's the boost in confidence. It applies to pretty much all walks of your life.
Yes, and I want to add something very small. It may sound silly, but for the longest time, right, I was very conscious about being short, and in my family, like my younger sister is way taller than I am. And I think for a long time, I always stepped out of the house wearing heels because I wanted to feel tall. And it's only after I brought fitness into my life that I felt so comfortable in my own skin. I felt so confident of who I am that I literally don't wear heels anymore. And I'm always, very comfortable. It doesn't bother me how I am perceived because I know how mentally, physically, emotionally strong I am. And that's all that matters.
Right. No, amazing. This is, and probably you feel more comfortable all day, not having to wear heels, right? Yeah.
I'm comfortable, yes.
Right.
And I know it's very small, Mukesh, but I know a lot of women who go through the same, image, right? I mean, and I think women go through it probably a little more than men, or I know so. But that's another reason why I tell all women, I said, forget about, how you feel. I mean, because of the way the outside world or someone else is perceiving about you. One of the things that can change for you when you start exercising consistently is feel great about you, feel strong, feel positive. Feel like.
So you have, broken a lot of stereotypes in your last, 20-year career. Just I want to go back to CrossFit for one more minute. First, I think a lot of people may not be aware of CrossFit. When you were competing in, let's say, the year that, you placed, you were the number one women athlete in the country. Just give a sample of a workout. What does a typical CrossFit workout, during those challenges look like? Because I want to ask a follow-up question after you give just one example.
Okay, so I'll give a workout that sounds simple, but 2 exercises that are literally, okay, I'll use the word hate. I don't use the word hate often because it's very strong, but these are 2 exercise movements which are hated by most people: burpee and thrusters.
Right.
A thruster is where, we're holding really heavy weights. You're squatting, you're standing up and pushing up overhead. And it's all for volume. You're talking about X number of burpee, X number of thrusters going back to back for X number of rounds.
Right.
I mean, that's one workout I cannot get out of my system because I wanted to throw up in the middle of it. But you can't stop because you lose time. And then you have like 5 people around you, like pushing you and just chasing you to say you cannot stop, and you at that point you just hate them because they don't know what you're going through. All they're doing is standing around you and cheering you. That was one of the toughest just thruster burpee, 2 movements. But when you repeat that for volume over and over again, you don't know where your heart is or head is. You have no idea.
You remember how many repetitions of burpees and thrusters you did?
I'll have to go back and check, Mukesh, because this is a while ago. But then when I finished it, of course, I ran to the washroom, I threw up and etc. And then when you see the leaderboard, when you see your name on top, you're like, it's just worth it.
Yeah, so it's quite challenging. Having done some CrossFit, basically there is almost no rest time.
Yes.
And you optimize for time. You're trying to squeeze in as many repetitions possible. So you go all out with weights, right? So I'm sure your thrusters must be at least probably 30 or 40 kg. Yes. I'm guessing, in that range.
Yes.
And you're doing this, movement continuously.